What's up, bro?
Let's go, bro. So yeah, fucking. There was a lot of value in the morning though, right? QQQ and SPY both had gap fills right off the open, right? They both had pre-market gap fills. And we can clearly see that from Friday we held this demand zone here, right? Or we held this level. We bounced off it once, bounced off it twice, three times, and then even today pre-market we broke a little bit below, but we held it right off the open. And we just ripped, right? So as soon as I seen this candle close, I seen Nvidia was very strong, and I was just looking at everything else. Tesla was strong, Apple was strong, everything was just looking strong on that first 5 minute candle. Big bullish engulfing. And on the pullback, I hopped in here on Qs in expectation of the pre-market gap fill. So I hopped in here and I took profit right before the gap fill though, to be honest. Just in case it got rejected up here. But I did catch a pullback and then I ended up catching the gap fill. But it was a little bit tricky. It was a little bit tricky though, for sure. But the reject was where the money was at today, to be honest. The reject was, fuck, dude. I'm mad I missed it. Shit was so, because I was about to take it, but this reject right here, right off the 4-hour 9 EMA, if you could see right here. Let me show you guys how much confluence this shit had. Right before the market opened, we had that 4-hour 9 EMA in that low in the red box. And then if you go from the recent high to most recent low, we had that 382 retracement literally right there, right at 387. And you can see what happened today as soon as we hit that red box. Speed this shit up. Boom. So one reject off of it. It was a reject, right? And it started to hold this 9 EMA. So when I start to see this, I look at the speed of how this bounce is, because we got rejected from a key level, right? And then it started to just get slow and it just got weaker. Look at the volume on that bounce, on that green candle. And then you start to see it just get weaker and weaker as it doesn't want to break that level. It just starts to consolidate right here until it just snaps. Watch, it consolidates for a while. If I go to the 1 minute, you'll see how it consolidated. Look. Before that, right? You can see right here. It looks like we were holding like a nice support right here. And then it just snapped right here on this candle. It should just ripped, broke below this. And this is like always another, if you miss the top of the reject, it's fine, right? Let it break where it needs to break. And then look at how it comes back and retests it on this candle, right? And then you can make an entry there. And then once that shit happened, you could see the price action speed up. Like the candle just starts to speed up and it goes straight down to the VWAP. And we held the hourly 9 EMA with the 200 right here. You see how the hourly 9 EMA, and then we held that 200 on the 5 minute.
Yeah, I see
Would
it.
definitely fake someone out though, for sure. We start to see that bullish pin bar off key support, the 50 and the 200 crossed up. And you start to see we just consolidate and we form like a big pennant here. Form like a big pennant here. Right, we make a higher low. Bounce again off that 200. See how powerful that 200 it could be, especially with confluence with the VWAP and an hourly 9 EMA. And then boom, we just fucking ripped. And then we broke this key level of supply, right? So for tomorrow, I will now be watching that for a bounce. Because look how we broke above it, came back, retested, broke above it, came back, retested. So this is a good area to watch for a bounce. Another rejection area for tomorrow is this 390 area, and I'll show you guys why right now. So yeah, pretty interesting today. Definitely pretty. So we pre aftermarket, and on the daily, you could see how strong this candle was today. You guys know what kind of candle this is? Anyone?
No.
No, it's called a
But
Moro. Anyone know?
I don't know. I was thinking about that pregnant one, something like that, but probably not that one.
So first things first, we had the day before Friday, we closed with a bullish pin bar. So that's like a huge, and we had a bullish divergence. We had a bullish divergence with the pin bar. I think it was hourly or was a different time frame. I'm tripping. That was a different stock. But yeah, on the day, this is called the Moro Buzo candle. Moro Buzo. It's the strongest candle there could be, meaning like it has no wick on the top and no wick on the bottom. It's just super strong, right? You see how all these candles have wicks? All these candles have wicks, but when you see this one right here, this is the strongest one. This shit has no wicks at all. It just, price action was just strong and we ripped, you know? Not a wick, doesn't have wicks on the bottom or the top, you see? And that's just the bullish candlestick. Same thing if it was all red, like some shit like this, you know? This one does have wicks, but you know, the bigger the candle, the stronger it shows like how much buyers were. Like this one, for example, this was pretty strong candle. And we get higher the next day. But you know, it's still very risk off until FOMC, which is on Wednesday. Right? Anything can happen. We get this low pump, but then Wednesday it could fuck it all up. So what I am looking for is a rejection. It's gonna be tough though, because we're already opening up in here. So if we don't reject off this off the open, and you guys could see why I might you guys can see why I have this area of supply. Like I'm gonna clear my chart, okay? But so before you see how we bounce here, just pretend this box is green, okay? We bounce here, drag this shit down, and you can see how we bounce again in here.
Yeah.
And then I drag it down. Like I'm gonna go to the hourly so it'll be more clear. And you can see how we bounce here, we bounce here, we bounce here. So now that we're approaching this area, we could potentially reject in here, you know? And not only that though, now let me go back to my main chart. Not only that, we have this we have this 618 retracement. I haven't been using it as much, but this previous demand will turn into supply. I need to back test the 618 retracement more, but usually it should. It's called the golden pocket. Should be reversal, some type of reversal there. But this trend line right here, right, where we bounce off it once, bounce off of it twice, bounce off of it 3 times, bounce off of it 4 times, but it's all the way up here. So if we do happen to get a break, so the only way I wouldn't take a reject is if we break above this. I would let it break above and then come back and use it as demand again. It should bounce off of here if it breaks above it. See how we bounce off of it multiple times right here, right? Bounce off of it, bounce off of it, bounce off of it, bounce off of it. So here we are, we could potentially reject off of it. Or if we break above it, I will look to, okay, so this is a possibility, right? So we could reject off of this. And then we could go straight down to this one. So this was a double bottom, right? Double bottom. And we broke it, right? We broke it. So now we might need to retest that area that it broke. That resistance should turn to support, and then we could catch up the next leg up, right? And then let it break that supply, and then let it retest for the next leg up to 392, which is going to be the next resistance. And then of course we have another supply zone up here at 296. You can see how we get rejected up here.
Yeah, I see it.
I remember this reject right here made me $400. This one right here. So we got to watch this supply zone right here. Boom, area of sellers, area where sellers step in. So yeah, that's kind of my game plan on SPY tomorrow. It is gonna be tricky. It should be risk off. You guys should be risk off because FOMC is on Wednesday, so it could be choppy tomorrow. You know, it's gonna be a lot of uncertainty. Definitely be risk off. You know, trade what you're knowledgeable on. Trade any setups that do present itself that you feel like could be good. Other than that, you know, it's risk off till Wednesday. And Wednesday, it's still risk off because we just don't know what's gonna happen. So see what happens with that FOMC meeting. Let me see. Another possibility, so with the QQQs, it looks a little bit more clear what could potentially be happening. Look, check this out, right? So what could potentially be happening on Qs? Oh, Q, same thing, right? Same, this previous demand is turning to supply. Let me clear my chart, right? Do you guys see what could any chart patterns that could potentially form? Anything?
Any chart patterns that can potentially form right there?
Yeah.
You're looking at a bull flag.
I don't see a bull flag.
I'm just saying, but you said potentially. So
Yeah. Oh,
potentially
yeah,
means
no,
it's
yeah,
not
you're
forming.
right. You're right. We could, but it's not fully there for.
Yeah, I know it's not fully there. I'm just
Yeah, it's not fully there yet. Not good. Good answer though. Could potentially form a bull flag. But this right here though, look,
A, B, C, D. Oh no, head and shoulder.
right? And if it holds, if it comes up here, 297 is the target. Let it pull back to here because that's the left shoulder here, right? And you can make entry for calls here with the stop loss right below. So your risk on this would be great.
Your stop loss would be with before EMA.
Your stop loss would be if it breaks the right shoulder.
Oh, okay.
For example, like since this is the left shoulder,
How do you use that the risk management?
you go
box?
here to
I've always wanted to know.
yeah, you go here to long position.
Okay.
You go here to long position and you just click at anywhere on the chart.
Oh, I see.
So for example, if the left shoulder is here, right? The right shoulder should be here. So I'm gonna make my entry on the right shoulder. And if it breaks below, then the right shoulder gets invalidated and it's not an inverse head and shoulders, right? It's not gonna be an inverse head and shoulders if it gets invalidated. So that's my risk, that's my reward. That's a 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio. And this is what I look for when I trade every single day, right? I want small risk for a bigger reward. Where's my target? The top of this. Because if this shit forms, boom, we got the left shoulder here, got the head. And if I make my entry down here, boom, on the right shoulder, because this is where it should bounce from if it does form a right shoulder. And then, my stop loss is literally right below it. Small risk, good reward. And if it breaks out, even better. So that's a possibility, right? But we got to watch out for the supply zone here. As you can see, we clearly hourly. This level is clearly respected here. Right, we have all these rejects back here. See all these rejects in this red box. Reject, boom, come back, break below, reject, come back, hold it, reject. Here we bounce off of it, bounce off of it, bounce off of it, come back, bounce off of it, bounce off of it, bounce, break below, come back, reject, boom, here we are again, retesting. This could reject off of this. So if we do break above that though, I am going to be targeting like 297 above 294. Simple. I'm gonna just keep it simple. I'm not gonna make it too. Oh, look, Nvidia fucking played out perfectly today too. I had this drawn out before this even happened. But the thing with Nvidia, it was just so fast. There was no like, see how I had this right shoulder entry here? Before this even played out, I had already visioned a right shoulder. Like if it drops, it's gonna make a right shoulder down here. And it did it. It played out perfectly. Look. Boom, came down, formed that right shoulder and just ripped. But the thing is that right off the open, it just like it didn't even come down at all. It just sent it. Like it literally just sent it. And that was like my indication that QQQ could be strong today. And yeah, I could have bought the pullback, but I had this previous resistance here that it could have gotten rejected off of right here. And it did literally get rejected right off of it. See, rejected. So I didn't want to buy calls around that area. And even it was a good choice that I didn't, because like we only went up a little bit from here. And yeah, it would have just sold off the rest of the day when SPY and QQQ rejected at the same time. And then boom, we did pick up towards the end of the day. So this could pick up tomorrow. This could be a good bounce area for tomorrow on NVIDIA. Good thing that I'm seeing this right now. This could be a good bounce area for NVIDIA. Reason being is because we bounced here before. Look, see that? Bounce, 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 bounce. And today we rejected it, broke above. Today we broke above it. So now let's see what happens with NVIDIA tomorrow, right? If it comes into this green box tomorrow, I would like to have some confluence, all right? I'm gonna try to add a fib pre-market. I'm gonna look to find a fib level. I'm gonna go from recent low. Remember this, I'm gonna go from recent low and I'm gonna go to pre-market high. So when the market opens, if a Fibonacci level, whether it's the 236 or the 382, correlates with this green box and confluence with like a 9 EMA or something, then that just adds confluence for me to take a bounce in there. And my target would be like right here. And the reason why this was previous support 130, 136 basically. And look what we have here, right? We have the daily 9 EMA, which could be used as resistance, right? So I wouldn't want to get caught. Look how we've been rejected off the daily 9 multiple times, right? Got rejected off the daily 9. And here we are about to approach it again. So it could get rejected off there again. Doesn't look bad. NVIDIA doesn't look bad. But I am seeing a little bit more upside before. It's going to be tricky, though. It's going to be tricky. I feel like it's going to be tricky. We got to see what, before I take any of these trades, I need to see how SPY and QQ are going to react in this supply zone right here. If they reject from here, I will not be looking to take calls on anything. But if it breaks above and holds it, I will look to take calls on NVIDIA. I know Apple was strong today. This is also, oh, okay. Apple looks too fire. Fuck NVIDIA. Apple looks better. Do you guys see why? I potentially like Apple better.
You could probably take a bounce in the supply zone or that zone you have right there with the 9.
Yeah, exactly. And do you see any do you see how it could potentially form an inverse head and shoulders?
Oh yeah. Also.
Oh, exactly on the pullback, right?
Exactly in this previous demand. So check this out, right? We bounce, 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 bounce. Boom. Resistance at 156. Let it pull back in here. What do we have here? We have the hourly 9 EMA. I'd have a stop loss right below this. Right below 153. Let it pull back. Right. Boom, boom. Let it pull back in here and make my entry here. If it breaks below, fuck it, I stop out for a small loss because I hop in literally at a good entry. Target. So if I hop in down here, I'm gonna target 156. But we have the daily 90 MA here and we have a 200 MA here that could be used as resistance. So if you hop in here, I'd trim some on as it's going up, you know? And if it shows strength, then fuck it, leave it. You know, if it shows strength, it's gonna break these levels. And if the overall market is showing strength, then it's gonna break those levels. But I would target this right here, the 156. Above that's a little bit risky. Doesn't look bad. So we got to see how that looks pre-market too. Everything was pretty much strong today. I think Amazon, Microsoft was strong. Microsoft starting to form a double bottom now. Oh, this is pretty clean on Microsoft too. Nice double bottom, but yeah, it could. But whenever I do take a trade, I want to have good risk to reward on something. So we could potentially take a bounce off this too. For I want something else. Tesla was really strong. I haven't been trading Tesla lately since the stock split. I don't understand it no more. I fucking used to be really good at trading Tesla, but I just don't understand this shit no more. I just got so used to memorizing the old numbers that these new numbers just fuck me up, you know? It just sucks. Sucks bad, bro, because Tesla used to print for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just sucks, dude. Oh, I need to relearn it all over again. Where's Amazon at? What did Facebook do today? Pretty much all tech was strong today. If I look on Finviz, I'm sure this shit was green. Apple being the strongest. Nike? Okay, I'll check that out right now. Nike looks like a clean inverse head and shoulders too. These inverse head and shoulders are starting to form all across the board, right? Take a pullback down here, potentially here, you know, around this area and target there, right? Make my entry here. take profit up there. On Nike doesn't look bad at all. The reason why I would have Nike on watch was because it was relatively strong today. So usually when the stock is relatively strong, it could make a second day continuation. And this looks really, really good actually. So I am gonna keep this on watch. Right, it was one of the strongest stocks today. What's the brightest thing on the screen today? Apple 2.51% and Nike almost 3%. So I definitely am gonna have Nike on watch tomorrow if it makes a second day continuation. So this is gonna be my risk to reward on Nike. Really, really good risk to reward. Personally, I feel like it could bounce a little bit earlier. But where's the left shoulder? Right here, right? Boom. I'll try to make my entry like right here at this 4-hour 9 and this 21. It's gonna come down and it could use these as support. It's gonna use these EMAs as support and it could bounce up and potentially go back up there. So I'd look for a bounce around these areas. Let me see if yeah, I'd look for a pullback. I'm trying to see if there's any big supports that will correlate here. 551 potentially. So yeah, let it pull back and then I'd like to make an entry like around this area. Hopefully this 200 moving average moves up so we could see where, the more confluence we could add to it, the better. So let that move up and I'll take a bounce from anywhere from in there. It doesn't look bad. Where's Amazon? That's what I'm trying to look for. Amazon. Okay. See, that's the thing too. Amazon's opening up in supply. Amazon is in supply. Look. We get rejected from here. Let me zoom in real quick. All right, we get rejected from here. A little bit from there. And then we start bouncing in here. And here we are again. Let me make this box smaller. I just really want to see what pre-market is going to look like before taking any longs or anything. Overall, the market is still bearish. It's just the pullback. But overall, a lot of names are reclaiming that 4-hour 9 EMA. So it's going to start to use it as support. The way when we're below it, we use it as resistance. It's going to now use it as support. And we could take bounces off of it now. If we do start to trend upwards, we take bounces off that 4-hour 9, just like we take rejects off of it. Like, for example, this right here would have been a perfect reject, right? You guys see why? Look at all those EMAs right there. We have the 9, we have the 200, we have the 50. And as the stock goes up, it rejects that 4-hour 9 in confluence with all that. That's a bunch of resistance right here. It's tough to get a bunch of EMAs like that. When they're stacked like that, slam puts with the small stop loss right above that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I'm watching for tomorrow. Just got to be patient and see how we open up on SPY at these areas. This previous demand turned to supply. It looks strong though. This candle right here on the daily is very convincing that we could rip straight through this and potentially go to 394 or 392 first. 392, 394. Fill that whole gap fill. So yeah, it should be an interesting day tomorrow. Netflix. Damn, Netflix is holding up strong actually. This is interesting. Because you see this big ass gap fill on Netflix. This shit rejected it, tried to break above it. Now it's coming back up to try to make a move towards it. It's pretty crazy. But it's just the thing with Netflix, it just consolidates like a crazy. It held a lot of demand down here though. 220. That's pretty crazy though. Should be interesting. This FOMC meeting is gonna be interesting. You gotta trade safe on that FOMC. Google held demand nice today too, I noticed. Google held demand very, very nice today. This was honestly a really good play. If you would have taken this today, this was super fire. right? You just had to add calls all down here in demand. All it did was bounce down here. All down here, all it did was bounce, 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 bounce. You see on the hourly, perfect double bottom. Let me see what's up. Google had previous demand over here. I don't know if you guys remember. All this was demand on Google. Every time we came over here to like basically all this, that's a big demand. 104 to 106. Yeah, that's what it is though. Every time we came in here, we bounced on Google. You guys could see, right? We bounce in here, bounce in here, bounce, 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 and now we broke below it. So now we can come back and retest this as supply. But I would like to, okay, so let me make this smaller. I would like to take a reject up here though. Because this is where we have a daily 9 EMA. We have a daily 9 EMA and we have the 382 retracement. That could be used as a big resistance. So that's something that I would look at for sure. These are just scenarios, you know. I'll update a better watch list in the morning. But main watch right now is SPY and Qs. SPY Qs, Apple looks good too. I'm definitely keep an eye on Apple. Yeah, you guys got any questions or anything?
How do you remember what you put on your watch list? Because you have a bunch of stuff.
I always look through it again. What you said, I write it down.
Oh, you write it down? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh,
But
yeah,
I
yeah.
always look through it, you know, I always pretty much every stock looks identical. You can see Apple, inverse head and shoulders, QQQ, inverse head and shoulders. You know, there are a lot of them are the same scenarios. Nvidia already ripped. But no, yeah, I do write them down though.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I look at like Nike, right? Nike, inverse head and shoulders. And then I just look at them pre-market again and I see which one looks the best. I think I might need to clean my chart on QQQ. It's starting to look messy.
Felony be having his like that, huh? Just has a bunch of support lines.
Yeah, you gotta
Tomorrow I'm gonna trade by myself. I'm gonna just trade with setups.
all right, cool.
Everything you have down, all your watches. I'm gonna just use
Yeah,
that
just
tomorrow.
back test it. Nvidia, like I said, Nvidia might be great too.
Yeah.
I like Nvidia, Apple, and Qs, and they all correlate with each other. If Qs goes up, Apple and Nvidia are gonna go up. If Nvidia
Yeah.
and Apple are going up, Apple, QQQ, and SPY are gonna go up. They correlate, so they should move together. So remember, the reason why I like Nvidia is because we bounce off here. Oh, we formed this inverse head and shoulders pattern, right? And we broke out already. So we need to come back and retest the area we broke out of. Or we already broke out and retested that area actually. So now we're just starting to trend higher. But you can see this area of support here, right? Bounce, bounce, bounce.
Yes.
And we could bounce in here again. If it continues to show strength, it should make its way up to that daily 9 EMA at 136. So from here to there is a $3 move with a stop loss of like 50 cents. That's a great risk to reward, you know?
I was gonna ask, how do you like, how would you trade something that's just showing continuous strength? So like, let's say tomorrow morning, it just keeps, it kind of keeps slowly rising. Like what
Oh, if it just rips.
kind of, yeah, if it just starts ripping, like little
And
by
I
little
kind
kind
of
of thing.
just, you know, if it wasn't part of my game plan, then I just would just stay away from it. Unless it catches unless it rips, like how it did today. Right? Because my game plan was to take it down here, right? I wanted my right shoulder was down because you see how my left shoulder is here. I even drew an arrow, like my left shoulder is here. So I wanted to make an entry down here. So pre-market, I was waiting for Nvidia to come down here, but in less than a minute, this should just rip. So I said, fuck that, I'm not gonna trade it, you know? And I was gonna take the pullback, which would have been good. I could have caught the pullback back up to here. But at that time, I was already in QQQ calls and I wanted to focus on one trade, you know? But it would have been a good trade. And I already had this would have been actually really good because my stop loss would have been right below the 9 and I already had a take profit level. So I had a stop loss and a take profit level already planned out, you know? And the reason I had to take profit level here was because it was previous where we bounced before, bounce, 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 and that's why I knew we could reject here because this previous support should turn to resistance. So for example, like if we do just rip off tomorrow, then that wasn't a part of my game plan. So I'd wait for a pullback, something like this, you know,
For sure.
wait for a pullback. Let's see what happens. It should be an interesting day tomorrow. Remember the risk off could be super choppy, or it could just be choppy. You know, FOMC's on Wednesday. A lot of it's gonna be some uncertainty. So just keep that in the back of your in your back of your head. You know. All right, then, guys.
Sounds good. All right, man. Thank you.
Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, you guys have a good day.
Have a good night, bro.
Good looking, G.
Talk to you guys soon. Peace out, guys.
Peace out.